I know the feeling, spending a few bucks on a cheap scanner that jams on the second page, and then realizing you've wasted time and money. That's why I spent a weekend comparing a handful of entry-level models before I pulled the Fujitsu Fi 8170 out of the box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When it comes to document scanners, the market is a minefield of budget options that promise speed but deliver paper jams, or premium units that cost more than a small office's monthly rent. The real question is whether a mid-range model can give you the reliability of a high-end machine without the sticker shock. The Fi 8170 sits right in that sweet spot for people who need a workhorse that won't quit after a few weeks. First, let's talk about the environment it's meant for. If you run a home office, a legal practice, or a small accounting firm, you're probably dealing with a constant stream of invoices, contracts, ID cards, and sometimes even passports for client onboarding. Those aren't just single-sided letters. You need a scanner that can handle mixed media without you having to pause and refeed everything manually. The Fi 8170's 100-sheet automatic document feeder, ADF, is built for exactly that kind of workload. I tried loading a stack of 95 mixed-size documents, some half-letter letters, a few legal-size contracts, and a handful of thick ID cards. The feeder took the whole batch without a single misfeed, and the scanner kept moving at roughly 70 pages per minute, which is as close to real-time as you'll get outside of an enterprise setup. What makes that speed useful is the way Fujitsu handles error detection. The ultrasonic multi-feed sensor actually listens for the sound of two sheets trying to go through at once, and it pauses the scan before the jam happens. In my test, when I intentionally slipped two receipts together, the machine flagged the issue on screen and asked me to separate them. That may sound like a minor convenience, but in a busy office that's a huge time saver. You're not stuck untangling a jam that could have ruined the next 20 pages. Image quality is another area where the Fi 8170 shines. The 600 dpi optical resolution captures fine details on passports and driver's licenses, which is essential if you need to archive ID documents for compliance reasons. I scanned a batch of employee ID cards and compared the output to the originals on a calibrated monitor. The text was razor sharp, the photo colors were true, and even the holographic security features were legible enough for a quick visual check. For most businesses, that level of fidelity is overkill for everyday receipts, but it becomes a decisive factor when you have to preserve legal documents that may be inspected years down the line. Versatility is built into the hardware. The feeder accepts anything from business cards up to 1.4 mm thick media, meaning you can scan passports, credit cards, and even embossed seals without swapping trays. In a real-world scenario, I used the scanner to digitize a stack of employee badges, a set of signed contracts, and a handful of thick product warranty cards. Each type slipped through the same feed path, and the software automatically adjusted the scan profile based on thickness detection. That eliminates the need for manual mode changes, a small but noticeable productivity boost. Now, let's be honest about the downsides. The Fi 8170 is a solid performer, but it's not a plug-and-play device for the absolute beginner. The software suite that ships with it, ScanSnap Manager, is feature-rich, but it also has a learning curve. If you're only looking to scan occasional receipts, you might find the setup steps like configuring profile presets for duplex scanning or adjusting OCR languages a bit more involved than a simple USB scanner that just drops a PDF on your desktop. Also, the unit runs on a standard AC adapter and doesn't have a battery backup, so if you're in a location with unstable power, you'll need a UPS or surge protector to avoid interruptions. Another trade-off is size. The machine is roughly the size of a small desktop printer, which makes it easy to fit on a typical office desk, but you'll need a dedicated spot for the ADF and a clear path for the paper output. In a cramped home office where desk real estate is at a premium, that could force you to rearrange your workspace. Who should buy this scanner? If you process 200+ pages a day, need reliable duplex scanning, and handle a mix of document types including thick cards or passports, the Fujitsu Fi 8170 is a practical investment. small legal firms, medical offices, and HR departments that must archive employee records will appreciate the combination of speed, error detection, and high-resolution output. It also makes sense for freelancers who run a side business that requires consistent document archiving. Think tax preparers or consultants who keep client contracts on file. Who should skip it? If your scanning needs are limited to occasional single-sided receipts or you only need a quick scan of a few pages a week, a budget flatbed scanner or even a smartphone app will likely meet your